An American warrior on trial in Turkey has denied charges of aiding a terrorist organization, in a situation which has elicited Turkey-US relations.
Andrew Brunson is accused of helping a group headed by Fethullah Gulen, an exiled Muslim preacher who Turkish government alleged was behind a failed 2016 coup.
Mr. Brunson, who ran a Protestant church in the Turkish city of Izmir, was arrested in October 2016. If convicted, he faces up to 35 years behind bars.
Mr. Brunson, 50, an evangelical pastor originally from North Carolina, appeared in court on Monday in the town of Aliaga for the first day of his trial. Also in court were Sam Brownback, the U.S. Ambassador at Large for Religious Freedoms, and U.S. Senator Tom Tillis. Mr. Brunson's lawyer, Kemal Alvord, has called the charges totally unfounded, saying they are based on testimony from secret informants. He told the AFP news agency ahead of the hearing that his client was both nervous, but also excited because it is the first time he will appear before a judge. He has expectations and a hope. Turkey and U.S. lock heads as relations reach new low.
British man preparing to fight Turkish forces.
Prosecutors say Mr. Brunson worked with a group led by Mr. Gulen, who is living in exile in Pennsylvania in the U.S., as well as with the Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK.
Turkey has designated both Mr. Gulen's network and the PKK as terror groups, and accused Gulen of fomenting an attempted military coup in the country in 2016, in which at least 250 people died. Mr. Gulen has denied any involvement in the attempted coup, and the European Union has said it does not share Turkey's view that his network is a terror organization.
Mr. Brunson, who has lived in Turkey for 23 years, serving as pastor of the Izmir Resurrection Church, was among those swept up in a massive crackdown by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, following the failed coup. More than 50,000 people were arrested in the crackdown, as well as 100,000 state employees fired and newspapers and TV stations shuttered.
Turkey initially accused the pastor of being a member of both Mr. Gulen's network and the PKK, but apparently adjusted the charges before the trial, accusing him of working on the group's behalf.
Relations between Turkey and the U.S. were already strained over American support for Kurdish militias in Syria, which have been targeted by Turkish forces. Turkey has formally sought the extradition of Mr. Gulen, but the U.S. says it has not been given sufficient evidence to back up the request. In September, Mr. Erdogan raised the prospect of a swap, exchanging Mr. Brunson for Mr. Gulen, but the idea was dismissed by the U.S. authorities, who have pressed Turkey to release the pastor. According to Say Heil, Executive Senior Counsel at U.S. Christian group the American Center for Law and Justice, Mr. Brunson has lost 50 pounds, 23 kilograms, during his detention and been denied private meetings with his lawyer.
Mr. Brunson's daughter, Jacqueline Fornari, told a U.S. commission investigating the crackdown in Turkey that she had postponed her wedding in her father's absence. "I'm still waiting for my dad to walk me down the aisle, and I'm still waiting for that father-daughter dance," she said.